What's going on, guys? My name is Noah. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This was supposed to be released yesterday, but I've been so busy trying to get a wedding done, and so I wanted to release it today. It's a mental health topic that I think is very valid, and when it comes to the frequency that I get this question from people that are struggling, it's arguably the most common question I get. When I was really bad off, I knew I was really bad off, and when I started to do better in terms of my depression, my anxiety, my depersonalization, I didn't really trust it or seem to believe it, or I had trouble identifying if I was fabricating it in my head, like maybe I just think I'm better, or maybe I just want to be better so bad that I'm willing to manifest it. I'm just going to just say I'm better. And I remember people noticing changes in me and thinking I seem better, and then they'd bring that up to me, and I didn't like it. It bothered me. It was unsettling because in my mind I'd suffered so long that I really couldn't imagine life where I wasn't suffering from panic and dissociation, depersonalization, and depression. But people would say things like that. They would say that I seemed better. And what provoked this video, aside from getting this question again from another one of you awesome people, is that something happened to me which was a stark reminder of how much better I have gotten. And it serves as a great example for me and perhaps for you, for how to be able to tell. When I was deeply depersonalized and depressed and anxious, one of the biggest issues I had with my panic and my overstimulation issue was going outside and being in big groups of people. Some people have social anxiety anyway, agoraphobia. That's not my MO from before life with depression, anxiety, DP, but it certainly became a very normal part of my experience. I was very fearful outside of small familiar spaces. And to that effect, I couldn't go to big gatherings. I couldn't be around a lot of people. I barely could go outside. I swear just the open space outside seemed to be very overwhelming and overstimulating. More specifically, big crowds. I just couldn't do it. And a couple weekends ago, I very nonchalant went to support a friend in Bend for a CrossFit competition. And I was around tons of people, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in a very big, busy, open space with lots of noises and activity and stuff like that. And, I think once you've been through something bad, a dark night of the soul, if you will, mental health problems, the ability to appreciate, acknowledge, and be aware of when you're doing better is pretty pronounced. It's pretty special. And so I was sitting in the bleachers looking around me, and it just crossed my mind, wow, look at me. If this isn't hopeful, just within myself, that years later, removed from the trauma of the worst part of my mental health issues, I'm just sitting in a huge crowded space. And this was a very, very crowded space, and I was great. I was okay. And the reason I wanted to share that in this video with you is because this was an unthinkable situation for me before. It was an unthinkable reality. If someone had said, someday you'll be in a big, giant venue with a lot of friends, a lot of people, a lot of noise, a lot of music, and you'll be doing great. You'll have a great time. I'd be like, F off. I'm like, no chance. No chance. I couldn't go into Plaid Pantry when I was at my worst out of fear that I might have a panic attack. So how do you know if you're going to get better? You have moments like these where, kind of in spite of yourself, just in the flow of your life, you just are able to do some things that had seemed impossible for a long time. Now, this is an extreme example, and I worked really hard to get to this point. They will come in micro examples all over the place, and you just have to be open to them. You don't have to read too far into them or get your hopes up that everything is done and that your suffering is over, but you can acknowledge that they're happening. And they might start with baby steps, like you're willing to go meet a friend for coffee, or you're willing to go for a walk outside. You'll know what that means for you relative to what you're struggling with. But someday you could be like me, who was holed up in a tiny little room for a long time, scared of the world, scared of my own shadow, so suicidal, so depressed, so dissociated, never imagine having any normal experiences in life again, to be sitting in a giant, huge outdoor venue with a bunch of people and having the time of my life. You start to trust it once it happens more. And I just thought it was worth sharing that, because I look for these moments still. That washes over me how grateful I am that I've been blessed to be in a better mental space. And it's not promised, and I don't know what will happen tomorrow, but for today I'm good. And if that offers you any solace at all, take it. It's free. and know that if I can get better, you can get better. Just stay out of your own way. Continue to figure out what works for you. Stay in the fight and load up that hope bin so that it can outweigh the hopelessness that is often how we all feel, when we're struggling. All right, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for being here, watching this video, supporting me on Patreon. All of you mean the world to me. You're making my life better, and I sincerely appreciate the fact that you are here. In the comments below, if you happen to have it in you to offer some hope and support to someone else, what are some of the ways that you started to realize you were doing better? When did you start to know you were doing better? For me, it was very subtle. And I think it's really important to acknowledge those little things and then, of course, the big things so that you can see things more objectively, because it's really hard to see your mental health objectively. You're living in it, and it's lasted too long, and it's painful. So in the comments below, please offer a little bit of hope and support if you can. What are some things that you noticed that helped you feel confident that you were starting to get better? And if you are suffering, just use this message board, use the comment section as a space to open up about what you're going through and see if we can't offer you some support, okay? We'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for being here. You bless my life. Adios, amigos.